Ablative Absolutes, how to give Latin an extra flair. In today's video, we're going to be looking at what ablative absolutes are, how to recognise them, and how to form them. Now, the important thing for ablative absolutes is your noun endings. So if you're struggling, go and download my free noun endings guide from the link in the description below. It's got everything you need for the first, second, and third declensions, and that is what you will need today. So first of all, what does an ablative absolute look like? This is one I prepared earlier. Urbe deleta, milites processerunt. Now we're going to have a look at that again in a second, but just take a moment to have a look at it. Urbe deleta, milites processerunt. So ablative absolutes, they are grammatically separate from the rest of the sentence. They can be taken out and the meaning of the sentence does not change, but also the grammar of the sentence doesn't affect them. They consist of a noun plus a participle, and shockingly, they are both in the ablative case. Now, if you're worried about participles, I have lots of videos on them on my channel. You can find links to them in the description as well. Let's go back to my sentence from before. Urbe deleta milites processerunt. Milites processerunt is my main sentence. This is my proper clause of a sentence. It means the soldiers advanced. That's a full sentence on its own. We don't need any more information. So it's not going to be changed by urbe deleta. I have urbe, which means the city, and I have deleta. Deleta means having been destroyed. Both of those are in the ablative case, so I can put them together and I can translate them as with the city destroyed. Now, I never said this was going to give your Latin a comprehensive flair that makes sense in English. It just gives your Latin a cool twist. So with the city destroyed, the soldiers advanced. That's the way that a lot of people translate ablative absolutes. Now, urbe deleta, you have a noun, the city, in the ablative. It is a third declension feminine. Because it is feminine, deleta ends with an A. If you've watched my videos on participles, you'll know that participles have to agree with the noun they're describing in case, ablative, number, singular, and gender, feminine. So my participle means destroyed, it's ablative because it has to match urbe, and it is a perfect passive participle. So I translate it as having been somethinged. Now there are lots of different ways you can translate ablative absolutes. Some are clunkier than others, some are a little bit more fluent. So my favourite is with the city having been destroyed, because that keeps the ablative case. However, it's not the best in terms of fluency. You'd never say that in English. Some other ways you can translate ablative absolutes: after the city was destroyed, with the city destroyed, when the city was destroyed. All of these keep the sense of the perfect passive participle. The city's been destroyed, so something else is happening. Let's have a look at another one. Regibus exactis consules facti sunt. Where is my ablative absolute? Look for a noun and a participle that are both in the ablative case. Regibus means the kings, and exactis means something like having been driven out. So this sentence means with kings having been driven out, consuls were created, consuls were made. This is a description of the republic being created in Rome. Now, this is a very clunky translation, so rather than saying with kings having been driven out, you can say when the kings were driven out, consuls were created. Both are perfectly fine. The top one is a little bit more clunky. Couple of important things. Participles agree in case, number, and gender with the noun they are describing. That is why they are both in the ablative case. So, for example, femina conspecta, with the woman having been seen, when the woman was seen. Muris oppugnatis, with the walls having been attacked, or when the walls were attacked. Another important thing, participles can be any tense. So you could have militibus venturis. They're both still in the ablative, it's still an ablative absolute. This time, venturis is a future participle. This literally means with the soldiers being about to come. Doesn't make a lot of sense in English, but it makes sense in Latin. The soldiers are about to arrive. So with the soldiers about to arrive, something happens. So just a recap of one of my favourite pieces of grammar in Latin. They are grammatically separate from the rest of the sentence. They don't affect anything else, so you can just bracket them off and treat them on their own. They involve a noun and a participle in the ablative case. Again, if you're worried about the participles, the thing you need are the noun endings, so go and grab my free noun endings guide from the link in the description below. It'll really help you out. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this has been useful. How do you find ablative absolutes? I love them. Let me know in the comments. And I'll see you next time on Bambasbat.